welcome to episode 46 of PauseCast. It's July 7th, 2017. I am Jessica Alouette. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Mark Hanna, I use he, him. Welcome. And I just noticed just now that there's 3 sevens in the date today. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there is. Shit. I didn't even notice.
Even cooler in 60 years.
You noticed all the prime numbers and stuff this time? Any primes?
Oh, yeah. It's, what is it, 23 and 2 this time, I think? Yeah. I still do that. I just don't do it out loud.
I know.
Sometimes it's like
there's
3 twos or something. Yeah, no, I still do that in my head.
We're here to talk about video games. I hear you played something pretty interesting this week. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, so I haven't really played any more Andromeda. I gotta do my regular laptop update, which is I still don't know when it's going to be fixed. I don't have it yet. What I've done, I haven't really played any more Andromeda multiplayer. Although I did notice today they've put up a new patch which has some multiplayer changes, including a platinum difficulty, which I'm not going to be trying anytime soon, and another new class, which is actually a species that I haven't seen in the single player. It has been in the previous Mass Effect games, but like they've added that new, which is kind of neat. But no, I haven't played any more of that. I have returned to Diablo 3, my one of those games that I return to on occasion. It's actually it's in between their seasons now.
Right.
So normally when I return to it, I'll start a new character, so my flatmate, and we'll play through a season, which is when you tick a box. It says seasonal character when you start. You start with, you don't have any of the shared stuff in your stash from your other characters or anything like that, or any of the levels you get after the max level that let you put in little bonus attribute stuff. You don't have any of that, and there's certain challenges you have to complete. And I'm used to doing that, but this time there isn't any active season. We're in between, I think, seasons 10 and 11. So my stash was super full, and I had to spend like 10 minutes being like, oh crap, okay, all the stuff that I've got in the like in-game mail from my seasonal character coming across, I have to sort my stash. But what we've both done is we've picked up the new Necromancer class that they just added, I think the day that we got it, actually. So we've been playing through for that. And it took us 2 sessions to get to max level, which we felt was pretty good going. Early on, we both got the same legendary helm, which is... So the legendary helm, I think it's called Leoric's Crown. And we both picked it up at the same time in the story where you're supposed to find the crown of King Leoric. So it's like we were both wearing this crown that we've been sent on a quest to find. Yeah. But what that does is it has a socket you can put a gem in, and it near doubles the effects of that gem.
Okay.
And of course, both of us had our stash from all the other characters. So it's like, okay, I'm going to put like a super high level ruby in it, which gives plus 41 experience, nearly double that. So okay, I'm getting like 180% experience. So we leveled up pretty fast. We eventually, for ages, we were like, okay, wait, stop. I've leveled up. I need to check my skills. But eventually we got to the point where it's just checking skills is taking too long. We'll just level up like 5 times and then check. So we rushed to level 70 pretty quick in a couple of sessions. And then since then, I've done my thing again of I turn the sound way down and I can play it quite idly while I'll listen to a podcast or something, which I don't have that much time to listen to podcasts because I listen to the radio when I'm driving in my car. And that's kind of, that's the downtime I generally have when I don't need to concentrate, because I find it really hard to multitask when one of those tasks is to listen to people talk. I can't do both very well. But Diablo 3 is great because I can do that and listen to people talk. So I've finally got to do some of that again. So that's kind of been my week in gaming, is looking at Diablo 3 again. And I'm looking forward to, I think I'll probably reset this character, play through to max level again. So,
okay.
Yeah. That's been my week. What have you been playing?
I have been playing some interesting stuff. This week I've been playing a lot more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit.
Hmm.
And I've also been playing Planet Coaster quite a bit this week.
Planet Coaster.
Planet Coaster. So, are you
Is that
familiar
like the ones you put a mug on?
Okay. Are you
I'm guessing
familiar
not.
with the Roller Coaster Tycoon series?
So I've heard of it. I haven't played it, but I did have a game when I was a kid called Theme Park World,
Yeah.
which I think was pretty similar.
Yep. Same sort of premise. You build up a theme park and all the rides and such associated with that. Planet Coaster takes that premise up to, I would say, an extreme that I'm
Is it a,
really
is it
into.
a new game or is it an old one you picked up?
It is a new one. It was released end of 2016.
Okay.
So it's fairly recent. It looks quite great as a result. Um, it has some seriously complicated simulation going on within it.
Yeah. What sort of stuff?
Um, so your usual kind of like guests produce garbage, and you need to have a place to put it, like all the garbage, and you need to have a like janitorial staff coming around to clean up all the garbage. There's a security element to it, which is interesting. Like guests can be pickpocketed,
Oh, interesting.
and your guards can catch pickpockets and vandals and whatnot. And
Did I ever have I ever talked to you about Theme Park World?
I think you have a little when I mentioned I like went back to Roller Coaster Tycoon for a little bit.
You just reminded me of my horrible, horrible strategies in playing that game when I was like 10.
Goodness.
Well, I'd make a park where you could only enter, you could never leave. I'd have free, really, really, really salty chips next to really expensive drinks. And then, like, after a while, when my park was full of people with no money, I'd just destroy one of the rides. There'd be a flood of really, really unhappy children, just like hundreds of them running out of the park, and I'd just put the ride back and let it fill up again. Pretty dystopian. I'm sure that there are better strategies that can keep happy people in the park.
Yeah.
But
There was
I didn't figure them out when I was a kid.
Another thing that was in Planet Coaster that I really, really liked was there's like a sequencing system and triggers.
Do you mean you don't mean DNA sequencing?
No, I mean like so along a roller coaster, when the roller coaster reaches a certain point, you can fire a trigger, which then like sets off cannons that are like close to the track or something like that. And
Whoa. Cannons.
like
Are you firing cannonballs across your park?
no, I'm like smoke, like animatronics. It produces a puff of smoke and fire and looks cool.
Okay.
But like you could that's my example. You could set it up with whatever you wanted. Stuff like fireworks, stuff like flamethrowers, like as a special effect, like pyrotechnics, water effects.
Sounds like you're setting up traps.
I'm not setting up. This isn't Home Alone.
Cannons and flamethrowers.
This is like not Home Alone. This is extremely not Home Alone. This is me building a roller coaster and like putting flames beside the track so that it looks cool and scary when you ride through it.
Keep your arms inside the vehicle at all times.
Keep your arms inside the vehicle. Designing coasters is also kind of whack because you have to like make turns that aren't too tight, otherwise like people are gonna like get really nauseous, like you're just jerking them around, and it makes your ride inherently less rideable. It's a whole bunch of stuff like that that's simulated. It's completely bananas.
Can you make it go so fast and then turn real quick so that it falls off?
I think you could. I don't think that would be hard.
Yeah?
I
mean, I shouldn't be contemplating that because it's not a good thing to do.
No.
But I always want to know how
you
you can break
and
things like that.
You and Ash both seem to have this approach to building games in which the approach is destroy everything.
Well, it's kind of a matter of, okay, there's some sort of physics simulation here. How far does it go? That's like the driving force behind that for me. It's not so much, hey, I want to cool the virtual people. It's like, okay, you're simulating a roller coaster. How far are you taking that if things go wrong? That's what I wonder about when I hear about things like that.
No, I think I have reasonable belief that Planet Coaster would in fact let you take it that far.
Okay.
I'd have to try it out, but that's just not kind of how I build coasters.
Sure.
Um, in cities, like destruction is Ash's delight to the point where she bought me the Natural Disasters DLC.
Oh, and you can have tsunamis and stuff, right?
I can have like tsunamis and meteors and stuff like that, I think.
I mean, I'm bad enough at building a city when things aren't trying to destroy it.
I know, right? She just wants to see my city burn. Good times. Good times online. Building games are good.
What have you built in that? You said you've got a roller coaster with flamethrowers going alongside it?
Yeah. I've been kind of just running off the pre-built scenarios for the game, I guess.
Okay, I sort of assumed that it would just be all sandbox. So has it got like goals and stuff for you to do?
Yeah, there's there's a career mode basically, which I've been using to try and figure out how the game works.
Right. Yeah.
And it sets you up with like, okay, so in order to get a gold star on this map and like fully complete the scenario, you need to hire this many janitors, hire this many mechanics, and hire this many entertainers. And you also need to pay off all your loans and like do all this other stuff. Make $4,000 in a month. Those kind of objectives.
Okay.
That one actually took me it took me a little bit to get that like set. That was all from just like the single set of objectives I was most recently working with. But that's how that can be. That's how you can kind of progress in the career mode, just doing these little things in the scenarios. So the roller coaster I built with flamethrowers, it runs through like a pirate fortress, and as you come down after the drop, it fires a trigger which lights up the flamethrowers as you move down the track. So there's walls of fire to the left and right of the track as you move alongside the wall of this fortress. It's quite cool.
Nice. Does it have like a day-night cycle so that you can
There
see the
is
fire
a day-night
really
cycle.
Yeah.
And also the ability to just tick a box and it sets the lighting to whatever time you want.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Because the daylight cycle is going to be purely cosmetic, I'm guessing.
Yes, it is. And it also, like, it affects all the rides have lighting.
Yeah.
You can...
It'd be pretty boring at night otherwise because the park would be closed up.
Yeah, and you can put lighting on everything that you could possibly ever want to. There's like a whole building blueprinting system. Like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, like... basically, you have access to... For shops, right? You have access to the most base version of the shop.
Okay.
And a handful of blueprints in some cases. But that base version of the shop, you actually have to like build props around it and build walls around it to basically design the building. If you're not using the blueprints, you can save the stuff that you do build up as a blueprint, which is super cool. I very much like that.
So is there a little bit of like Sims-ish house building in there?
A little
in terms
bit,
of building
yeah.
those walls and putting the props
there's
around.
no floors because you're not building interiors, but like you're designing all the exterior stuff. So there's a little bit of Sims-esque house building and decorating, and all of that is quite good. And then everything can be saved as a blueprint and upload it to the Steam Workshop if you wanted to.
Nice.
You can share all the like custom stuff that you're doing. It's really robust, all of this, and I'm thoroughly impressed with Planet Coaster.
There's like a lot of options for the wall types and props and stuff that you're building together to make those blueprints.
Yeah, exactly. Is that
as well? Is that something that's they've got in the workshop? Like more options for those?
I'm not sure. I think
Okay.
the workshop is mostly just focused on having those blueprints available, which I recently discovered as well. You can actually have a blueprint for fireworks shows. So you can have sort of pre-made sequences uploaded to the shop, which is super. All of this is so cool.
So do those sequences not need to be tied to a roller coaster then?
No, those sequences can also just be like set off at like a specific time, like at 8:00. Just set off this fireworks sequence, and the game will be like, okay, sure. You can set all these up through a like display sequencer tool that exists within the game, as well as like a trigger tool that works for rides.
That is interesting. So you can just put together a fireworks show and then put it on Steam Workshop and someone would import it and it would do all the same stuff in the same order.
Correct. And same timing as well.
Yeah. Well, presumably you could like shift the start time, right?
Yeah, you could if you wanted to. But like the same actual like event trigger sequence. I messed around with it a little bit because you can also add custom music. So I was messing around with it a little bit. Actually doing like a bit of music and trying to sequence all the triggers to that. It was an absolute blast to do. It was a little bit tedious because there's no actual strobe lights in the game, so you have to fake the effect. And I had some fun doing that.
Must need pretty fast music if you're doing strobe lights.
Oh yeah, at minimum 140 BPM.
Yikes! I'd die.
That's not that. It's not that fast. 140 is not that fast. I could have put it up to 200.
Yikes! I would definitely die.
That's just kind of where I'm at.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I listen to way slower stuff.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm full in on like metal and like really really fast electronic music. So
Actually, that was not electronic, but that was interesting. Going back to what was it, Prince of Persia Warrior Thing that I mentioned the other week, because they had Disturbed doing the soundtrack.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. Although I noticed there were some like awkward times in the game where it's just like, there's no music playing. Why is there no music playing? And I didn't know if it was actually there's no music playing here, or I'm running a 13-year-old game. It's just not running perfectly on this hardware kind of thing. It could have been. I don't know. I can't exactly get a 13-year-old computer to compare it to.
Speaking of old games,
Yeah.
you know what's been running all week that I've kind of been watching?
No?
Summer Games Done Quick.
Even though it's the middle of winter.
Even though it's the middle of winter, yes. But
Northern Hemisphere people.
Yeah,
How dare they?
I've been watching Games Done Quick though, which if you're not familiar with that, that is a it's I guess a biannual speedrunning event for video games.
They do the summer one in winter and the normal one in summer.
Yeah, they do.
Except they do it in the northern hemisphere, so everything's backwards.
Yeah, they do Awesome Games Done Quick in January, and then they do Summer Games Done Quick in July. Which
is it the whole month long?
No, it's
No.
a full week nonstop.
A week, right? Wait, non-stop as in
24
hours
hours for a full week.
wow. Insomniac's Dream?
Hmm?
An Insomniac's Dream?
Yeah, it is the Insomniac stream for sure, for sure. Like it's just kind of constantly running. Right now, I think they're playing. Yeah, they're playing Zelda 2 right now. I think it's the Legend of Zelda block. The the runs this year have been fantastic. Um, there's a lot of great talent on show, and I've been really enjoying watching Games Done Quick.
Nice. Any favorites?
Doom was fun to see speedrun. That's Doom 2016, by the way. A lot of out of bounds and stuff. It was kind of technical. Now,
That's the idea of pretty much all these, right? They're not about being so good that you just finish the level real quick. It's finding ways to trick the game into putting you further ahead than you should be.
yeah, exactly. Like, there was one in Mario Kart 64 where if you took damage and went out of bounds on the track, you'd be pulled back onto the track, and you could have reversed and been right at the end of right at the finish line. You'd cross it, and it'd be as if you completed the whole lap.
Ha! Because it hadn't recorded you going backwards over it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's interesting.
So, Mark, you got anything you want to talk about right now? Because I've got one more thing that I can hit up.
I saw a bit of news about Shadow of War today that honestly had me scratching my head. They've released a new thing for Shadow of Mordor where you can sort of save an export version of your strongest nemesis and your strongest, I think they say ally, but honestly it's like magic slave because you just take over their minds. But the thing I don't, and they get imported into Shadow of War once you get it. The thing I kind of don't get is yes, technically Shadow of Mordor has an end boss. It's a quick time sequence, it doesn't count. The real end boss is your main nemesis, you kill them. So that seems strange to me. Like, so you're importing the one you didn't kill as part of the story. Like, okay, it's neat. Like, okay, sure. Like, being able to import, that's cool. But you made me kill the strongest one already. Like, they keep track of your main one throughout the story. You know, if you check, like, the screen that shows all of the named orcs, they'll be like, hey, this is your arch nemesis or whatever. I don't know what they call it. But then they show up in the final mission, and it's like, okay, I gotta kill you now. So, yeah, you can't import them. You killed them. You can import someone else, which is fine. It just seems a little strange to have that, I guess. But no, it's cool to import. I saw that and I couldn't help but think, didn't you kill the best one? But when I went back to it, I'd gotten into that thing of sort of just killing them and killing them and killing them, and I didn't have any that stuck around long enough for me to remember them. The only ones I can remember are ones that are long dead now, so I don't think I'll be importing any. So while it was neat, it didn't really get me excited. And if someone's playing through it now, be warned, if you want to import this one and they're your strongest one, if you finish the game, they'll be dead. I suppose you could probably still import them. If you export them and then kill them, they probably still get imported. I don't know. Maybe that's it. So, they survived, even if you cut their head off.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a bit of a head scratcher as to why that has been set up. It's probably going to lead to some cool moments, but also it has the potential to be annoying.
I mean, you don't have to do it, is the other thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So, worst case scenario, it seems like is nothing. And best case is, okay, you liked someone in the first game, you bring it through. So, yeah, I can see it. It's cool. It seemed weird because they were framing it as importing your strongest nemesis. The game will detect who your strongest nemesis is for you to import. It's I can't just pick who to import. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, so it seems like it's fine. It's a cool feature, but that aspect of it just seemed a little weird to me. I'm still super looking forward to that game though.
That's fair enough. I
Hmm.
am going to talk about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Okay.
So, over the past week, I've been playing it a bunch more, and last weekend I had the chance to play it in a really, really interesting way. Um, Turns out that weekend, the people I was playing with in the Waypoint Discord had come up with this new way of playing internally within a squad, which was called Winters. It was named
Sorry, was
after
that the squad or the style of play?
the style of play is called Winters.
Okay.
Based on the real life story of Major Winters, as well as the character in the Band of Brothers series. Winters gets separated from the rest of his squad behind enemy lines and without any weapons. Since you're dropping into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds without any weapons, this mode is kind of evolved based off of that. The objective is everybody completely separately, without discussing it with any of their squad mates, picks a separate location to drop to on the on Murder Island.
Wait, is that its actual name?
No, I wish it was
Oh.
actually called Murder Island, but it's been affectionately nicknamed Murder Island.
Okay.
Everybody picks a location on the island to drop to from the plane that you start out in without telling their squad mates. Someone in the squad does a count from 3 to 1, and then everybody reveals the location they're dropping to on their map. You can drop markers, and everybody can see each other's markers. And then everybody goes to these separate locations without any support from their squad, essentially. Unless you get lucky and there is someone who's dropping near you.
Mm-hmm.
So the objective of this mode is then to meet up with the rest of your squad while playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds normally. Otherwise, you'll be trying to get to first place and be the last team surviving.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
No, I just as in like I agree. Go on.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And it ended up working out really quite well for all of us. As it turns out, splitting up as a squad kind of helps you out because when you're playing in a full squad of 4 people, your drop locations are pretty limited because wherever you go, there has to be enough loot and items for 4 people. Where if you split up, you can go to smaller locations, and the amount of places you can actually like viably drop to increases dramatically. And so you have a better chance at getting the kind of like gear that suits you and then linking up with the rest of your team. It also leads to like some really, really cool moments. The game that we played and actually won was completely bananas. It was like I completely fucked up my drop. My squad mates got like 2 kills in one of the houses that they dropped in. I managed to get one of the like very, very rare supply drops in the game.
Like a special weapon or something.
Yeah, sometimes planes will fly over and they'll have like a big crate that they drop down, and sometimes they have weapons. Sometimes they have stuff like a ghillie suit, which is made to look like a bunch of leaves and stuff, making you very hard to see if you're laying in the grass or by a tree. what actually happened with that care package is there was a ghillie suit in there, and I
Okay.
had it equipped.
Yeah.
Um, and as we were like making our way to the rest of our squad, because they had gone on just a little bit ahead of us after we linked up,
Okay.
making our way past, we started getting shot at from the side,
Right.
and both of us were knocked down,
So
and my ghillie suit was stolen.
wait, knocked down as in, do you get hurt a certain amount and you're down and someone has to revive you or something?
Okay, yeah, that's another thing. If you're playing in squads, when you lose all your health, you're knocked down first, and then your health burns down. If people continue shooting at you, they'll just kill you.
Okay.
Or if the rest of your squad is down, then you'll be killed.
Because no one's
Instantly.
going to get you up. Yep.
Yeah, nobody can get you up. But there's
Okay.
a period in which you can be revived, and it takes 10 seconds to revive a person.
Quite long.
We were knocked down and then killed. The ghillie suit was stolen from me.
Oh no.
Later on in that match, we spotted the ghillie suit again, and one of the remaining squad mates gave away their position voluntarily to get revenge. It was just a choice match. But playing in this way was really interesting, and I want to turn the question to you now. Have you played any games like this where you have like a house rule with the people that you're playing with? 'Cause, like this is something that doesn't fundamentally affect the rest of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds because you still play it normally,
Yeah.
but it changes the game completely for everybody who's playing it just among your group.
I'm trying to think because the only game I've really played much of where something like that might happen is probably Monster Hunter because it's that that cooperative play kind of style. But the closest we come to it in that is just agreeing on strategies, really. Which I suppose is kind of a similar thing because it's still an agreement on let's all behave this way. So
Well, you had like a meta game in Dying Light, didn't you? Something like tag.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've played that in a car game as well, but it was years ago, and I can't remember what it was called now. Where you'd like someone get a head start, and you have to find and tag them in the city. Yeah, no. In Dying Light, when I play it with my flatmate, we end up racing each other, like just because you both moving quickly. It's like I bet I can get there faster.
Have I talked about my my Watch Dogs meta game?
If you have, I need a reminder.
Basically, in the co-op mode, you could turn on friendly fire. The two of us would go and we would like find a location in the distance that we agreed on. We would start at the same location.
Oh, yes.
And then race off towards it. Whoever got there first had the opportunity to kind of like set up, but the objective was to get to that point and then kill the other person.
Yeah, no, you had told me about that. That does sound like a really fun way to play, actually.
It was really fun.
This isn't so much a house rule, but honestly, every time in Monster Hunter, when you finish killing a monster and everyone's carved, you spend the rest of the time trying to hit each other, which is actually really hard because you're used to hitting these huge, usually pretty slow monsters, and suddenly you're trying to hit small, fast-moving things so you can dodge and stuff. And a lot of the weapons won't have big sweeping arcs. So, like, if you've got a longsword, you've got a huge advantage because it's got this big horizontal sweep attack that you can like easily hit people with. But if you've got a smaller weapon, it's like, no, you're not going to be able to. But the best thing is you can hit someone with a kick because there's this like if you press start or something, you do this like shin kick. That, like you'll do it to wake people up when they've got the sleep status or something. But if you can hit someone while they're running around with a shin kick, it's like you got them. Or like in
I can imagine
Little
that would be
Big
quite
Planet when you're just
satisfying.
trying to slap people. As soon as someone discovers you can do that, you have to spend a good while slapping each other. But yeah, in terms of house rules, I'm trying to think.
Well, you have a quick think. If anybody's interested in reading more about the Winters game mode and how it was started. Plus, there's like a full recount of the match that we played that we actually got chicken dinner, which is the like we won the game. If you ever heard anybody talking about chicken dinner in the context of Battlegrounds, it means they won.
Where did that come from?
I have no. It comes from the end screen, which says "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." If you're the last one standing, so
okay, that's a bit unexpected.
the end goal of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is to get that chicken dinner. But we had there's a full like recount of the chicken dinner winning match, as well as like the rule set for Winters and how it was formed, and that's at bit.ly/PUBG Winters. That's all lowercase. Mark, did you find any house rules?
Thinking, but nothing quite like that I can think of. The closest is that sort of when you play tag or hide and seek kind of stuff in a game, which can be pretty fun in open world sort of games. I'm sure there were some things that I would have done when I was during the short period when me and my brothers all played GTA Online a little bit. You know, nothing more complicated than just trying to chase each other down, probably though.
Fair enough.
I was wondering though, in that Winters mode, do you run into issues where like you're separated but the other squads are together? So if you run into one, you're severely outgunned.
You can definitely run into some situations like that. We actually, in one of the matches I was playing this morning, we ran into someone who actually did separate from their squad.
Oh yeah.
And so when we all dropped down, it was 1 versus 4 immediately off the drop.
Yeah.
And we won, needless to say.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because it's 1 versus 4. Your chances are pretty slim.
I don't know that they're necessarily slim because
Really?
generally you're going for those spots that not all the squads are going for.
No,
But
so I mean, like, if you as one person meet 4 hostile people at once, then your chances are pretty slim. That's the kind of...
Yeah, then you're basically hosed unless you can like outplay them and kind of outmaneuver, use some smoke grenades, and actually get away. You're pretty much hosed.
Mhm.
So your options are, until you link up with your squad, you stay out of sight. And this leads to some tense moments as like vehicles get really close to you. And as you just like see squads in the distance, you have to be very, very aware that if they see you, you're done.
Does this hinder your movement? Because you've described to me before how the field of play gets smaller as the time goes on. You have to kind of race to stay within it sometimes.
Not it hasn't hindered movement too much typically, because generally everybody's going to be moving in one direction. So if you slightly deviate and go around, then you're usually fine.
Okay. I suppose if they're racing too, they might not stop to
Yeah, exactly.
come back and shoot you.
Sometimes as well, like if you're at a far enough distance, like people will just let you go.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth engaging you at that distance.
Yeah.
So, and then it comes back to bite them later when you finish them off. It's very good. Battlegrounds is a really, really good game. It's a really good story generator.
I'm really glad you've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because you were iffy about it before you got it, right?
I really was. I was thinking, oh, this game is going to be too stressful for me because like I don't like games where if I'm the last person standing, then like everybody's watching me.
Right. Okay.
I don't think that's such a big deal in PlayerUnknown's though, because to me, I think the difference is it's just your friends basically and your squad that can see you. like there's no real matchmaking in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. You don't have the pressure of like randoms watching you through the like as you're the last person standing. So like when I used to play Counter-Strike, I would always get really stressed out if I was one of the last people alive because it was a bunch of randoms just watching my performance.
So you do think the fact that you're actually playing with friends instead of randoms has been one of those deciding factors on yes, you enjoyed this game?
I think that has been like, oh, this is much less stressful because like it's just friends and we're all having fun.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's a low pressure environment, and it means that I don't have to be quite as concerned about like my performance because I can just like try and I know I'm gonna try and I know I got people backing me up and they're talking to me and they're calling out like, oh, we have the circles moved way far away, you should probably get moving soon. Or like, oh yeah, there's a dude at this bearing, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, I see him, I'll track him. It's yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot of that pressure offloaded.
that playing with randoms thing has been one of those things that keeps me away from a lot of competitive play. I mean, I've talked before about how just I'm not a particularly competitive person, so I avoid it for that. But playing with people I don't know as well, that I kind of get the same thing as you. I don't know if it's so much people watching me, but just I don't know. It's so much nicer when you can just be playing with friends. I remember when I got Monster Hunter Try a few years ago, which I bought a Wii for. It was the only game I ever played on it. I think the only reason I really didn't mind so much playing with randoms is because everyone's playing on a Wii. So if you want to say something, you have to type it out using a controller, and no one does that. And no one had a mic. And I had a USB keyboard, so I was like the only person who could say something. And I ended up finding someone who was really cool, was online at the same kind of times, and also had a keyboard. So it's like we two would play together, and we'd talk, and the other two people, whoever they were, wouldn't be saying anything. And just, I think the fact that, pretty much no one could communicate made it nicer, because if I'm playing with someone who I wouldn't really like, it's okay. I don't have to, they're not saying anything. I don't know. Because the worst you can do in Monster Hunter really is be bad. And that's fine. Like, if I'm playing with someone who's not great, it's okay. They're trying. You can't really sabotage it.
Yeah.
But I always get really nervous when there's like competitive games that rely heavily on voice chat, or like expect you to be in voice chat when I'm not playing with people I know, because I don't really. I just realized the irony of me saying this, and I'm like, I'm recording a podcast that people I don't know will probably listen to. It's like, and now I'm talking about I don't like strangers hearing my voice. Well, that doesn't really make sense, but that's just sort of like I feel like I'll stay quiet when I'm doing that, and then but it's expected of me. I don't know. I get stressed. Whereas if it's just playing with friends, cool. Like I'll talk to them, and I'll probably not use the in-game chat. I'll use something external so I can be sure I'm only talking to them. Like
yeah, exactly.
I'll have Skype or whatever voice software running in the background instead. Like that's what I do when I play Andromeda. It's got in-game voice. I don't want to do that partly because I just don't want to annoy people by talking all the time. But if I'm playing with my flatmate, we'll be on Skype and we'll be talking separate to the game. I get anxious sometimes. I'm like, shit. I hope I've muted myself. I hope no one else is listening to this because I'd be so annoying.
Voice for anything though,
like if you're playing with all your friends, I could understand it. That's fine. And I know there are some games
it's still
that do
bad
rely
though.
heavily on
You
it,
could
though,
just
right?
you could use Skype, you could use Discord, you could use literally anything other than in-game voice, which is bad.
I mean, I can see it. I can see how it would be good to include in a game so you only have to use one thing. Like that's fine. I still avoid it just for the aspect of I can better control who I'm talking to, I guess.
Yeah. I
don't
think
know.
Overwatch does it like to a point because you can have just like a party voice chat as well as the team voice chat.
Yeah, although that's match made though, right? So you're not.
No,
or you
you're
can just play with friends.
Team is match made, but party is you have to manually make that. So like,
so you can make a party and then a match makes the party.
yes.
Okay, cool. and you can have and you
So
use
then
party
you can
chat
just have a
for that, right?
party chat in game,
Right.
which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice. It is good. Yeah, I guess it's just an introvert thing, I think.
Mm. Yeah, for me, it's like, I guess, like, I'm not super good at video games a lot of the time, is a sad confession that I
No,
must
right?
make.
Like,
I'm not
yeah,
super.
I like. No, sorry, that's not. Yeah, you're not. That's a yeah. No, I get that. It's if you're playing a game to relax, you don't want to get freaking performance anxiety or something, right?
Yeah, I 100% got like performance anxiety when I was playing Counter-Strike because again, it's just like the pressure of, oh yeah, all these randos are watching you play this video game now. Have fun.
Yeah, it's so much nicer when it's just a bunch of
Uh,
friends. And if you mess something up, it's like they're your friends. They're going to be like, oh, maybe you should have tried this, or just like sympathize. They're not going to be
yeah,
like,
or
oh,
we're just
fuck you,
gonna
you
like
shit.
goof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're just gonna like goof on
No one
my
gets-
like
no
total
one's gonna get
failure
angry.
to shoot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where like if I'm playing CS, like I was the last kind of like bastion, and like, oh, now we're gonna end up with a loss because you suck at this game. Ugh.
And yeah, and there's just that I don't want to call it a stereotype because like there's good reason for this reputation, that's the word. Reputation of competitive matchmaking gaming having a lot of kind of assholes in it, right? And it'll vary game to game, but that's something that it's nice to be able to avoid.
Avoid the Noid.
Noid?
Never mind.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, it's nice to play with friends.
Yeah, play video games with friends. It's good as it turns out, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is definitely better with friends. It's still fun solo though, but definitely better with friends because you can just constantly goof on each other.
Hasn't it remained like number one on the Steam sale despite their seasonal sale?
100%.
And it's not on sale at all.
Yeah, that game is. I think it's at 4 million copies sold now as well.
Wow. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Shadow of Mordor. If anyone hasn't played it but wants to play it for the new one, it's $6.40 New Zealand at the moment.
It's also on a free weekend.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, so it is.
But you could also play a better video game. There's actually 2 better video games that if you're listening live, you could get. You could get Stardew Valley for $10, or you could
video
get
game.
Reigns for like $1.
Reigns. Have you told me about that one? Sounds
I
familiar,
have,
but I
yeah.
don't know what it is.
It's the like card game where you have to swipe left and right for like yes and no, and you have to
that's right. Yeah. No, I do remember.
you have to manage your kingdom through this very, very simple card swiping mechanic, which is super cool. It's also a very good video game.
I should play more Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley's good. I gifted it to one of my exes. Would have been a few months ago at this point, and let me check how much time she's logged in it, because it's a lot. View Steam profile, 208 hours,
Nice. It's a good
which
game.
is more than I have ever logged in any Steam game. So I think I made a good purchase. Stardew Valley's a good.
I've played
game.
23 hours in it. You know, not huge, but I have enjoyed those 23 hours.
Stardew, yeah. I have a lot of praise for it. I also saw some, by the way, GDQ stuff. Just dipping back to that real quick.
Yeah.
I did see Chrono Trigger being run for a little bit.
Okay.
That was about, like,
I'm sure that I would hate to watch someone tear the innards out of that game.
it was about a 3-hour run for Chrono Trigger.
I mean, if you're on New Game Plus, you can finish it real quick. Because the whole thing about New Game Plus is you can fight the end boss any point in the story. But you know, you'd have to be real strong, which takes a lot of grinding to do it. Sorry, what was that?
I wonder if that run was actually New Game Plus.
Maybe because I know that New Game Plus there's this earliest point in the game where you can fight the end boss, and of course the whole point of that sort of thing as different endings depending on where in the story you beat the end boss, because like things kind of get set there and continue on as though you didn't do anything else. So it involves time travel. You can kind of guess how many sorts of different endings there can be.
There was no New Game Plus on that. 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 35 seconds.
I'm wondering how. So, I feel like surely that. Oh no, I won't guess. It's speedrunning. They know how to mess with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, GDQ is good. I have another thing. Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking of New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Horizon. If you are interested, Horizon just got New Game Plus,
Oh,
an
yeah,
ultra
I
hard
saw
difficulty, and a bunch of face paint now as well.
Oh, face paint. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
I
So
saw. Oh, go on.
if you were looking for an incentive to go back, now you know.
I mean, the DLC is going to be a good incentive. I saw. I mean, I probably mentioned this when it happened, but they've added the ability now to turn your helmet off. So, like, if I go back, or when I go back, I suppose when I'll get the DLC, like, hey, I can get the stronger armor and just turn off the big hats instead of not
Thank
get them because of
goodness.
them. So that's cool.
All right. I think it's going to do it for us this week. You feel good about
Yeah,
that?
but so next week,
Yes.
I'm not in the country.
You're not here.
No. So have you? You said you were gonna have someone else. Is that right, or am I misremembering?
No, you are remembering correctly. I'm planning some guests. I don't have official
Okay.
confirmation on anything yet. If you want to find information about that first, we'll be posting updates about who our guests are a little bit closer to that episode on our Patreon, which is patreon.com/PauseCast show, or more easily, bit.ly/PauseCast. Thank you to our patrons as well, Ash, Yee, and PD, for your support of the show.
You. And knowing you, I'm sure that whoever you find for next week's going to be real exciting as well.
Yeah, I will probably have someone very exciting on. I've got one guest who's not confirmed yet, but we shall see.
Yeah. And speaking of next week, what are you looking forward to playing over the next week?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think more Battlegrounds, and I think more Planet Coaster.
Have you got any goals in
Think
Planet
that-
Coaster you think you're going to aim for?
Pardon?
Have you got any particular goals in Planet Coaster you reckon you'll aim for?
Maybe get a few more scenarios done. Been having fun doing those, and it's definitely been teaching me how to like play the game effectively and manage my park.
Okay. Fair enough.
So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue on that career path.
Cool.
And like I said, just more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and I've been having some itches for a Diablo style game, so I might boot up Path of Exile, I might boot up Grim Dawn. I will see.
What's that other one? Torchlight. You were playing Torchlight
Yes.
a while ago, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, 'cause that's a good Diablo-like game.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna be playing co-op Torchlight 2 pretty soon, I reckon.
Nice.
We'll see. How about you? You looking forward to anything? You looking forward to having like a functioning laptop, maybe?
Oh, I hope so. Yikes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you need that before you go too,
Well,
don't you?
I don't know, because I mean, I don't know if I'll take it with me or not. Honestly.
Oh, fair enough.
I need more books, though. I'm nearly finished with my book. I've got one lined up after it, but then I don't have the next set yet. I've got the fourth book of the 4 books in the series that's set after this one, so I can't start it. So I need something. I'll probably take my 3DS with me, so I might end up playing some more Fire Emblem or something. Until I leave, I'm sure I'm going to be playing more Diablo 3 over the weekend. It's like I said, it's quite nice to do that and listen to podcasts. So I'll be catching up with a few of those as I play through more of my Necromancer.
Fire Emblem is also a good pick as well.
Yeah, and I haven't gone back to it since I was last at the batch and took my 3DS there. So I'll probably do this same sort of thing, take it away with me on holiday and play some there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I might touch the Andromeda multiplayer again. I just really want to get back into it single player with my laptop. Yeah, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I like hopefully Monday, I guess. We'll
Yeah.
see. It's such a bloody saga. It's like how many weeks has it been now since I had a reliable gaming laptop? Like I've owned one the whole
Too
time,
many.
but yeah,
Too many.
yeah. Eventually, you won't have to hear about it. Eventually. But yeah, that's my plan. More Diablo and probably some 3DS stuff.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for listening to PauseCast episode 46. If you like the show, please consider giving us a rating or review on iTunes or your podcasting app of choice. It helps us out a lot. We have a giveaway going on our Twitter right now. It is for a copy of Project Cars for the PC. If you'd like to get yourself entered into that, you can follow our Twitter at PauseCast Show and retweet the tweet, which if it's not pinned, it's about to be. Um, but you can retweet that and get yourself a copy of Project Cars. We'll be picking from a random number generator to determine which retweeter will get that. I'm gonna work out some more giveaways and how to do them, but this is kind of the best way I've got right now. We're on Patreon. You can support the show financially, and just like $1 a month helps us out a bunch. And like it's been huge to see that number go up even just a little bit. So that, and that also gets you a couple of nice little rewards as well. You can do that by going to bit.ly/pausecast. We are on iTunes, which I mentioned earlier, bit.ly/pausecast-iTunes. As well, you can email the show, pausecastshow@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at pausecastshow, and we're on Facebook, facebook.com/pausecastshow. Thank you again to Ash Yee and PD for their support of the show. Mark, you're online.
Yep, I'm on Twitter
can
at
people find you?
HonestUniverse, and I blog as well, though not about video games, at honestuniverse.com.
And you can find me online on Twitter at CockatielCutie, and you can find me as well online at on Twitch at twitch.tv/CockatielCutie. And
Music.
I think that's not it. Thank you to Leon for the use of our theme song, Honey Milk Island. Honey Milk Island is a free download, and Leon's just released a album called Bird World pretty recently. I would recommend checking it out. You can do so by going to soundcloud.com/LEYAWN. That's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.